And welcome to another Down the Rabbit Hole video. I wanted to talk again about the Game Boy I got for Christmas. This guy over here, the AGS 101 with the backlit screen. There's a game I want to try something with on it, and for that I needed to borrow my friend's regular non-backlit Game Boy Advance there. Because what I'm going to do is hook them up together and try something out. A while ago I got the Game & Watch Collection, Gallery number 4. This is a rather poor condition here. You can see it's got a scratch on it. But it's got a great collection of Game & Watch games. Really enjoy it. And I'm going to fire it up in a second and show you. There are stars that you unlock when you play this game. And the more stars you get, the more games you unlock. And I've kind of reached the maximum of what I can do without investing several hours of playing into this thing. I mean, I've done quite a lot, but I can't seem to unlock any further stars, and there's still some games I want to unlock on this cartridge. So I thought to myself, well, wait a minute, there's a couple of multiplayer games in here. If I hook up these two Game Boys and just let my friend's machine sit there and just not win anything, I'll unlock some more stars. So let's give that a whirl. Now, how do you hook up to Game Boy Advances anyway? Because there doesn't seem to be a lot of documentation about how this is done. Everybody just says, oh, you just plug them in and they work. But how exactly? I mean, what happens if you got another game in the second machine? Does that bypass the connection? Apparently it does. So yes, you want to have no game in here. Let's put in the Game & Watch collection, hook these two guys up and see what happens. So just to show you what I mean, there's a great little collection on here of all these Game & Watch games, which are actually a heck of a lot of fun, even by today's standards. So yes, here is the collection, and it's actually got a great bunch of different titles here. You might be noticing on the side as I scroll up and down the list, these little stars kind of cascade and jump around. That's to show how many stars I've actually won in each of the different games. And the more stars you gain, the more titles you can unlock. In fact, if you go over here, I've actually unlocked some more. I've got Chef and Mario Brothers, Donkey Kong, Octopus. There's one here that hasn't been done, and from what I gather, if I go back to the main screen and I view the gallery, you get these little announcements every time you gain new stars, but if you go up to the actual gallery itself, it shows you a bunch of old games that were also for the Game & Watch collection. We've got Manhole, Tropical Fish, Mario's Bombs Away, which I really want to play that or get one of those, because that's one of the few times Mario is actually involved with explosives and bombs and like real military weaponry. So that's I think that's one of the few times in Nintendo history Mario was actually involved in kind of more mature subject matter, which is fascinating to me. Anyway, now what I've read online is that not only can you see these different games, but if you put in enough stars to this, like if you unlock enough of the games and do enough of the star ratings, you actually get to play these eventually. I haven't unlocked that one or that one. So yeah, what I want to do here is go back and actually see if I can get myself some more stars. And as I mentioned, I've kind of reached the limit of how far I can get playing all these. Some of my favorites are Mario's Cement Factory and Donkey Kong Jr. Really love them, but as you can see, I've only earned 1 star in the modern version and 2 stars in the classic. I think it's the same with a little bit more with Cement Factory. But the one I found I did really well with was Boxing. You can see I've unlocked all the stars in modern and classic. However, for this one down here, I have not unlocked any, and that's because that's if I do multiplayer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook up this Game Boy and that Game Boy, do some multiplayer, earn some more stars, and then that way I can maybe play some of those other titles in the gallery. So Boxing is going to be the game that we're going to see if we can play and unlock some stars. I'm going to hook up my friend's other Game Boy Advance here, as mentioned before, without a game in the slot. Now, how do you do it? Well, first of all, you obviously need a cable, and anybody who's been watching my channel for a while remembers I got this 2 years ago at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo for 2014, I had thought to myself, oh great, I'll just hook this up and do exactly what I'm about to do in this video, except for back then I only had a micro, and this thing doesn't work in a micro. You need to get a little special adapter. So last year at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo for 2015, had to look around for those micro adapters, and they were almost impossible to find. So this has been kind of sitting on a shelf collecting dust for this purpose. But when I got this, I realized, hey, now I can borrow my friend's GBA and get them connected. So let's give that a shot. Now, two very important things to note when you're hooking up a couple of Game Boy Advances with cables like this. The Game Boy Color had almost exactly the same connector on it, and if you try and use a Game Boy Color connector to make two GBAs see each other, they're not going to work. What you need to do is make sure if you've got the little notch right there, that's for a Game Boy Advance. If it doesn't have that notch, then it's actually, there you go, it's kind of well lit there. If it doesn't have that tiny little notch right there, then it's for a Game Boy Color, not for a Game Boy Advance, and it's not going to work. Second thing worth noting, and I really hope the camera picks this up, is these things are all labeled with player number 1 and player number 2. You can see that's number 1 on this side there, or on the left there. So the number 1 has to go into player 1, or the machine that has the original game running, so that'll be going into here. Player number 2 has to go into the receiving end, so that's going to go into that Game Boy Advance there. So let's hook these up and see what happens. Oh, and I guess a final thing worth noting, because when I first tried hooking these up as an experiment for this video, kept running into problems. You have to have a game either in both machines that is multiplayer capable. Like I was trying Super Street Fighter Turbo Revival, but I only had one copy in this machine, and it wasn't being recognized in this machine, because that's a pretty complicated game, and both cartridges, or both GBAs need a cartridge. So either you need to have a cartridge in both machines, or get a game that works with only a single pack, like Game & Watch Gallery, Activision Anthology is another one, there's a few others, where one copy in the one machine will then broadcast over the wire to the other machine, and that's what we're about to do here. So let me just hook these guys up. So there is GBA number 1 with connector number 1. I'll just plug this into the back here. Bit of a squeeze, that's that in. And now GBA number 2 with connector number 2. Put that into the back there. Okay, that's them hooked up. So now if I turn on GBA number 2, if I now go to game number 2, A or B, the classic or the modern, it should actually connect together. Let's try this out. Please connect your Game Boy Advance. You heard it made a little noise there. Now loading. And there you go. On both machines, we have the game playing. So I'm just going to do a little game here to try it out and see if I can unlock some more stars in multiplayer. So I'm controlling this guy here, and let's just punch this dude a little bit. I don't know if you can make it out on that machine over there, but it's reflecting exactly the same thing. See, he's getting up and coming over. This is great. So now I'm on my way to unlock a whole bunch of more stars and actually get some of those games unlocked. This is fantastic. So I'm going to cut to a later on portion here where I've actually unlocked a bit. But that's how you hook up two Game Boy Advances, and now I just got to go through and get them stars. And as you can see, I now got notification, there's a new Game & Watch game in the museum, in the gallery corner. I wonder which one it could be. Let's go check it out. And as you may recall, after Safe Buster, there was 2 with question marks. Now I know about Lifeboat. One more to go on here. Let's try and unlock that with the modern version. And now that we've unlocked all the stars in the modern version, there's another new Game & Watch game in the museum. Let's check that out. So after Lifeboat, our new one is Zelda. Interesting. Well, now that I've done quite a few games of that, I also found Donkey Kong 3 is another one that you can hook up two Game Boys together and unlock a bunch of stars. And having done so, I've unlocked the final of the games on that, the two big lists. So here it is, Fire Attack. This is the one that I've just unlocked. It looks kind of fun, actually. And in this, essentially, I'm this Boy Scout leader fella here, just making sure nobody sets the fort on fire. I got 4 different positions here, and I can just whack fellas on the head to stop them from lighting the thing on fire, which is kind of cool. Anyway, so yeah, this is what I'm going to continue to plug away with. I think I'll soon be returning my friend's Game Boy cable to him. But this has been a nice little way to get this. And I have read online you can unlock Manhole and all those other titles that are in the museum. I guess I just need hundreds and hundreds more stars or something. I guess I'll just be playing this a lot more. I've done all the stars I can multiplayer, so at least now I can return my friend his Game Boy. But yeah, I guess I look forward to just more gaming with this new wonderful Game Boy AGS 101. Speaking of which, before I go, I just had a very nice little comment from a fella who really enjoyed my review of the AGS 101. His channel is TRex Spacestation. His name's Ben. He just gave me a shout out on his channel because he quite enjoyed my review of the AGS 101 and a bunch of other videos that I do. And after he did so, I got a bunch of new subscribers. So I'm really, really appreciative. Thank you very much, Ben. Hope you enjoyed this one, and there will be plenty more similar videos coming in the near future. In fact, my micro is about to get a little bit of love. Anyway, until next time, we'll see you down the rabbit hole.